Hi, so welcome. Today I'm going to make another video on cheese scones using flour. So I've remembered my apron today, cooking made easy with Thermomix. Obviously using flour, gets sometimes a bit dusty. So yeah, we're going to make cheese scones, so that will help show you the dough function and the kneading and sort of mixing it all together, and with the cheese in the scones it'll show you all the chopping actions as well. Let's start. This is the Thermomix, so for those that haven't seen my cookie dough part 1 and part 2 videos, which explain all about cookie dough, how that's integrated into our machine, so you can research any recipe that you want to cook, find it on the machine and then literally start cooking on there. So just get the cookie dough to wake up and connect to the Wi-Fi, and here we go. C-H-E-E-S-E scones, and search. Okay, so we can see here it's brought up 4 results. Our recipes, we've got our traditional cheese scones that you can see there, walnut scones, biltong scones, unusual South African cookie dough, and I'm going to make these cheesy triangle scones because I just find these are really nice and great with soup. So I'm going to hit on that one there. So as you can see, it brings up the recipe. If you remember when I showed on cookie dough, just to show you on the recipes, each recipe you bring up, you have the difficulty of the recipe, so easy, preparation time 5 minutes, total time with the cooking is 25 minutes, and the serving size is 8 pieces. You then can see the ingredients, which are all down the side here, telling you every time in the list that they are used and how much is needed. We have the preparation steps, which we will see when we come to doing our guided cooking. This is exactly what we will see. The utensils that we need to have to be able to do this. The nutrition per piece, so our protein, carbs, fat, and the calories per portion. And finally, any hints and tricks that there may be for the recipe. So for this one, saying if you want a gluten-free version, we can use gluten-free self-raising flour, and gluten-free baking powder. Or a dairy-free version, we can use dairy-free spread and dairy-free milk. It says almond and oat milk work well. And we can also add in some chives if you want to give a little bit of colour to our cheese scones. Okay, so if we start to go back there, let's start cooking. So we don't need that today, so I'm going to take that out of the way. Get my steaming basket from there out, because again we don't need that for today. And I'm going to place my measuring cup into my lid. So that's your measuring cup going into your lid there. Okay, so first part of the recipe, as I explained to you, it tells you everything as you go along. So it's first thing it's telling you to do is to preheat your oven there to 220 degrees. We press next. Line a baking tray with a silicone baking paper or a silicone mat. So again, the next stage to prepare you. And we're going to add in 450 grams of self-raising flour. So I have my self-raising flour here. Remember, it goes up in 1 gram increments. You need to be very careful not to touch the bowl. Just put that in. 360, 400, 440. Well, and I've gone over. So that's fine, especially if it's the first ingredient. Got carried away. Take out that little bit there. And now on the other way. As I said, very sensitive. We go up in 1 gram increments. There we go. Okay. 450. Back. Okay, let's bring you back in to see the screen. There, you can see. And we press next. Okay, we're going to add in 120 grams of unsalted butter, which is cold and diced. And here is our butter. We'll put that in, reset that where I've moved the machine. And we're just putting in our 120 grams. As you can see, it just diced it up into pieces easy to go in. Okay, push that in. Okay, super. If you can see, I'm going to put in a teaspoon of baking powder. Press next. Pinch of salt. So just a little pinch. All of this is to taste. A little bit more, I think, on that. Nice flavour. And next, okay, so we're now going to add in the measuring bowl, mixing lid, cup onto the mixing bowl, and that's going to lock in. Now, this is where it's going to go into our turbo. The turbo is going to pulse. Okay, we're going to do it for 1 second at a time, and basically we're going to make, as you can see here, turn the speed selector 5 to 6 times until rough breadcrumbs. So we're just going to make that flour, butter into breadcrumbs for our scones. Okay, so I hit on that turbo button. You can see I just turn it round. 2, 5, and 6. Okay, super. And hit next. That should unlock the bowl, and we can have a look inside. Just inside, we've just mixed up the breadcrumbs and the flour. Flour and the butter. You can see all that butter's now mixed into there. If I move it around, no butter there, all gone. Yep, making breadcrumbs. So I'm now going to add in the cheese. So I want 120 grams. I'll reset that because I've taken the lid off. It's gone to a minus. I have my cheese here, already cubed, as it says. About 2 centimetre pieces. Just tip that in. And I've used an extra mature cheddar because I like that. And the amount I had left, it's gone slightly over, but that's fine because I like them cheesy, so I'm not too worried about that being over. It doesn't matter on recipes like this. It's all about your own taste. Okay, the measuring cup's gone into the lid already. Press next. That's going to lock in, and we're just going to do the same thing again with that turbo to grate up that cheese within the dough. Okay, and next, let's have a look. And again, you can see that cheese, we put those lumps in, but it's grated it all within to the flour. You can see it's all gone within there. Okay, you see that in there? Yeah, all those lumps of cheese and that has gone, and that's just flour there. So it wants 250 grams of milk. I'm going to reset that where I've taken the lid off. Okay, so just gently pour without touching the mixing bowl lid, otherwise that will throw it out. There we go. Okay, and next, just put that we're going to put the lid back on. Five seconds, we're going to turn the speed to 4, so you can see, bring you close, you can just see the little line that points out where you need that to turn to. You see that there? If we go back slightly on there, and we're doing it just for 5 seconds. So on here, turn it around to 4. That's just going to mix it all up. Okay, little sign there to say next. With measuring cup still in place, we're keeping that measuring cup up here. You can just see that's staying in. Okay, and now we're going into our dough function. So this is the bit for 30 seconds. We turn the selector to start. This is going to knead our milk, our flour, cheese, butter, all of that together to make a dough for us. So I'm just going to turn that round. Okay, we've just got that 30 seconds. See it just moving around. We're not getting hot, so we're staying here green. They're flashing, showing that it's working. We have our arms that lock in, flour everywhere here. But the arms, you can see here, these lock in, so it keeps the bowl and lid in place. And it also stops there being any chance of children putting fingers in those sharp blades or anyone looking in and hurting themselves. Okay, that's that done. Okay, next. Okay. So if you could look in there, you can see there's our dough. So our flour, milk, easy as anything. all been mixed together. Nothing in my nails, which I like. I'll just tip that out onto the surface. And think how long that's just taken us to make that dough. Hardly any time. Okay. All the bits out. Pull out that blade. There we go. So you see that there? Lovely dough for those cheese scones. Get quite a nice rough texture. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this all together using the spatula, so it comes in very handy. Pulling this together, again, keeping your hands clean, working it to a nice circle. Use that silicone spatula here, so it's very sturdy. Work it round, pushing it down, nice and flat. Just see on the map we have that circle, so I'm just going to move some of that round over here. Try and get a nice circle. Not very too much because they're not your little shaped scones, these are your rustic triangle, cheesy triangle scones, so as long as it looks roughly fairly even in size, and pressing it down to a ball, and then it's saying roll it. So again, it's on the screen to tell me what the next step is. Roll into a round 2 centimeters thick, so it gets quite thick. As you see, I'm just using that spatula, pushing it down. Just show you from there, from the top, looking down, just pushing it in, just using that spatula, easy enough. And then it's saying, using that spatula, cut it into 8 wedges. So I'll just move it round. There we go. So I'm going to cut through the middle. There. I'll cut it, then I'll show you it's looking. So it's very good. The spatula can also double up as a knife for these dough recipes. I'm using cakes and things. Get that nice rustic look, lovely with one of the soups that we can make there. I've cut that into the triangles. So our next step here is bake for 15 to 18 minutes until cooked and golden. So I'm going to put those onto a baking tray. I have here. So just there. That's it. You can make them whatever size that you want. If you even at this stage you want to make them into the shapes using a cutter, you can also do that. It's entirely up to you. And there we have it. See, already, and how long that's probably taken us? 15 minutes, the timer saying on the video. So in 15 minutes, made some really lovely cheese scones, baking them 15 to 18 minutes. So, you know, half an hour, cheese scones made just like that. And hardly any mess. We just have the bowl, mat, and a spatula. That's easy. A couple of bowls that had the ingredients in. So I'm just going to put that in the oven. Alexa, time 15 minutes. They're going to be finished in a few minutes. So I'm just going to show you in the meantime the pre-clean function. So this is the washing up function that comes with the Thermomix. It's really good. Not only do you have minimal use of utensils and that to wash up, the Thermomix actually will wash itself up itself. Afterwards, generally can just be a rinse out. Sometimes with things like breads, doughs, risottos, it might need a little bit of an extra clean because they tend to be a bit more of a sticky texture. But generally, it gives it a good wash and therefore easy as. As they say, here's some I made earlier. So we'll put that down, very hot. Okay, nice and golden brown. Way to check if they've done. check they sound hollow at the bottom. With our pea and mince soup made. I thought it makes a lovely lunch or dinner. Lovely light texture on those triangle scones. There was our cheesy triangle scones. Very good for all sorts of doughs. On our cookie dough, we have a lot of different recipes, lots of different recipe collections for breads, all these sorts of cakes and that. So it's a really good function with that dough that needs it and everything, you know, keeping it pretty clean. And also just really the time it can save in getting that dough kneaded and very quickly. Some of the doughs as well use the Veroma's dish for proving. I made a farmhouse loaf the other day and we use the Veroma to actually prove it within there. So again, another function that the Thermomix will do, it will prove it within that as well. Okay, hopefully that was of interest to you. And we'll look to make something else. We're going to do a tomato risotto and hopefully a banana ice cream shortly. Okay, see you soon. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments below. Okay, bye.